I'm Darren Hazelwood, CEO. I took over in January of this year following just a change around on the board. It was recognised that to move the business forward, that would probably be the best move for the company. Mitch, who was the ex-CEO, he's moved over to COO. Mitch is based in Canada, and he was more comfortable doing that. Okay, so we start. Panther Metals, company presentation 2019. We start off with the exciting stuff, a disclaimer. If anybody wants to see that, give me a shout afterwards. It's also available on our website, www.panthermetals.co.uk, and I'm sure you're all going to be rushing to see that. Company ethos. It's about delivery. It's very important we do what we say we're going to do. Strong commitment to engage with the market and with our shareholders. And we align everything with our shareholder base. So they're aware of what we're doing, why we're doing it, what's going on. Strategy. It's about creating a foundation, and that's been really important. We started off with a blank piece of paper, and as we'll run through this evening, you'll understand where we've gone, where we're at, hopefully where we're going. We do have a very extensive international network. Again, that will become clearer as I run through the board. It's worth everyone keeping a note on that. And finally, it's about growing and working with our partners to enable us to achieve that. Board of Directors. First of all, I'm going to go through the opportunity. We've witnessed massive underinvestment across the sector. That's recognised across all segments. We're seeing real dangers of supply shortages looming in gold, copper, nickel. Despite this, the sector is still very heavily underfunded. But that's where the opportunity lies for Panther Metals. We're seeing projects day in, day out. We have sieved through many, many projects. But we have got the ability within the business to siphon those projects. Hence why at this stage we have done one deal in Schreiber, which we'll come to. But why us? When we refinanced the business last March, one of the first things I was told that we would, by being on NEX, the cash shell never does any business. And we've proved that completely wrong. In July last year, we announced the DD process on the Schreiber project. Karim Senna, also CEO of Ariana, he joined the board as non-executive chairman in August. We completed the deal with on the Schreiber project in September. We're on site in October. We've done work on site in November. December, we announced Kate Hasling's coming onto the board, followed by the due diligence process with Parthian Resources. Again, we had the board reshuffle in January, and in early Feb, we announced the maiden results from Schreiber, which were very exciting. I was in a meeting with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and we were in quite a long discussion, and within that, he wanted to know what we'd done and where we'd gone. He said he hadn't heard a lot about Panther Metals. And my exact words to him were that we need to show the market as a business in this sector that we can deliver. And what we do, we will do. And his exact response was, that's so refreshing to hear. And that's why we're here today, because the message now we are going to start to deliver as a business going forward on the back of proven results and showing our ability to deliver value, as you will come through when we go on to the Schreiber project. Board of Directors. I love the way it does that. The aim of the board is to mitigate risk. If you look at the structure of the board for an exploration company based on NEX, you've got myself. I'm about structure, foundation, team building, energy, business growth. You've got Karim Senna, non-executive chairman. Exploration, he's taken a grassroots project in Turkey all the way through to profitable gold production with Ariana. You've got Mitch Smith, he's in Canada. He's a high-level corporate. He's very experienced in executing strategies. Nick O'Reilly, very experienced geologist, 14 years. He's a competent person for JORC code name rules. You've got Kate Aisling, who we brought on in December. She's been involved in financial controls, corporate finance. Simon Rothschild, IPOs, company restructurings, acquisitions. So within the business already, we've got exploration success, production success, networks, we've got financial controls, IPOs, acquisitions, business growth, all in one package, just all within this one team. It's impressive. Corporate structure. When we took over the business, we had 497 million shares in issue. Today, we have 516. We've increased the share capital 3.9%. That shows that we're not there to issue confetti. We're about building a business. That includes the deal with Schreiber. I also own 10% of Panther, just under 10% of Panther Metals. Big Bear Project, Ontario. First of all, Canada. It's the best location in the world for mining and exploration. There's no mistake why Panther are there. Why Ontario? Ontario's got over 38 producing mines. It's got 150 companies in the area. It's got over 200 projects. It's a jurisdiction that's built around supporting mining and exploration. We have had nothing but help since we've been there. And we move on now to the Big Bear project location. Big Bear sits on the Cayen Greenstone Belt. You've got active miners along that structure, Teck, Newmont, Barrick Gold, and there's loads of smaller players. We're not a million miles away from the Hemlo Gold Mine. It's produced 22 million ounces, one of the greatest discoveries of the last 30 years. Our site is just, size-wise, just about the size of Heathrow's external fencing. It's the best way to describe it. So it gives you, it's a sizable area. It's about 5 kilometres north of a small town called Schreiber. Access is easy. It's along the old logging roads. So why did we take this project? Historic results, as you can see. Let's see if this little dotty thing works. Okay, so historically, you had 53.7 grams a tonne. You also had one of the biggest soil samples I've ever seen, which was 18.2 grams a tonne from the soil. That is. There's some historic bulk sampling on site, and there's been other commodities found that you see at the bottom there, copper and zinc. We carried out our work programme in November, and I'm going to take you down to a slide. It's quite important you see this. So on here, this has all the historic workings. And just where this dot is here, there's an old mine there. It was producing in the 1930s. It's about the entrance, the addict entrance is just off of our site. However, it's only 10 yards. As soon as you go into the addict, everything from that mine goes deep onto our land. This is in this area. However, what you will note, that's where the soil sample is. It was taken 18.2 grams, and there's various other samples of varying degrees. But there, the Big Bear side, what we've now done is rename this just the Big Bear project, because there were 3 different projects all put together. You notice that there has been no historic work done on this side, and that's exciting the geologists, but we'll go back to this in one moment. So work programme in November, results were announced at the start of this month. You'll see just over on the right hand side, This site has been worked for around 100 years. Different people have been on site. Highest grade was 53.7. We took 40 rock chip samples and we returned 2 grades already above 100 grams a tonne, 112 and 105.5. That's significant. You'll also see within those 40 samples, we returned 4 other areas of 5 grams a tonne or more. 2 others, the sample between 1 and 5. If you look on this map here, you'll see the 50, the 112 and the 105.5 are there. The soil sample, the 18.7 is historic, is just in here. We know now for certain, we don't know what's there, but we know there is a gold system on this site. That's never actually been proved in this area. Down here, yes, but not here. We move on to our proposed exploration work once the snow's melted. In this case, access is 24/7, 365 days a year. We have to wait for the snow because we're going to be doing soils and rock chips. Outside of that, you can drill when you want. This access is easy. There's skidoo tracks, there's logging roads, everything. I've been there myself. It's great. So if we move on to this side. Now here, all this is the untouched side. It's never had any works done on it. The way that this map was produced, all those lines that you see here, that was produced on one single sheet by Nick O'Reilly, our geologist. So it's showing all the fault lines across our prospect. Then on another sheet, Nick laid the results and their locations. Then they're laid on top of each other, and you'll note there one sample that has hit bang on that fault, and this fault goes along this ridge system here, and there is no historic works done there. That is priority target. When the geologists get excited, that's when we get excited, because geologists don't get excited. I think everybody who's had anything to do with geos know that it's always no first, and then it builds up. And Nick's exact words to me, I'm excited to get back here. If he's excited, I'm over the moon. So that's priority target number 1, but that's despite having 105 and 112 down here and that soil sample. We will be working there. Again, it's all at surface, all samples, rock chips and soils. And we've got 4 areas, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down here, Nick's called this Big Bear Bottom. I'm desperate to find something there because nobody's going to forget Big Bear Bottom. It's absolutely stunning. That will take place probably early May. We also announced in December that we're entering into a due diligence process with Parthian Resources. That is ongoing, and it's about as much as I can say at the moment. However, that brings in a totally new dynamic. We've always said that we will be looking at Canada and we'll be looking at Australia. It was said at Walsall last May, some of you were there, and we continue to do that. We've shown that we're going to deliver what we say we're going to do. Parthian are a private company, and the one thing I guess I can say, they've got, if we complete with Parthian, that will bring a lot of ultra high net worth investors onto our share register, if we complete. And hopefully there'll be news very soon on that. Why Panther? Strong and clear corporate ethos. We do what we say. Diverse and proven management team. I implore everybody in this room, go back tomorrow morning when you wake up and you're eating your cornflakes, have a flick through this board of directors, see what they've done in the past, then put those all together into one business. You'll be impressed. We secure projects and investments in world-class mining jurisdictions, as I've just said, Canada and Australia. Now, we're not saying at any stage that we wouldn't look outside of those as a business. But be damn sure, if we ever do, and we ever announce something outside, you should get excited, because there'd be a really good reason why we've done that. It'd have to be a really good reason. Unlocking shareholder value through the identification of scalable projects. Again, as we've always said, we're looking at projects where we can add value. Doesn't matter what stage they're at. We could be looking at something that is ready for production. It could be ready for drilling, or it could be such as Schreiber, where it's pretty much a greenfield site with some historic stuff. But it's got to be scalable for the business, and as a direct result, that makes it scalable for our shareholders. It shows that we're adding value all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Panther Metals. Thank you for your time.